Hello and welcome to the second episode of Chilli Discussion. This is a place where we discuss spicy stories that we take from Reddit from time to time, or any spicy topics and combine them with psychological knowledge while having a cozy and chill vibe. So if you guys have any suggestion on the topics that we should discuss, comment below and submit your own stories anonymously in the form in the description, and remember to click subscribe, like and share. So today we have two guests with us. One is Mickey, okay, and I'm joined here today again with Maya.
Hello.
All right, so Maya, wow, it seems that it's raining heavily outside. Yeah, so as we are approaching our National Day very soon, I wanted to discuss a little bit of the beauty and uniqueness of Malaysia with you,
Okay.
as the both of us are from different background. So
yes.
before we start, maybe we
Yes.
can just introduce ourselves a little bit so that our audience know who we are.
Okay.
Let's start from you.
All right. I'm Maya. I'm an intern and here with Mr. Jackie. And a bit of background, I guess, since we're talking about National Day and like being a Malaysian. The big thing about Malaysian is being multicultural. I am multicultural because I'm mixed.
Oh, mix between?
My dad is Malay
Okay.
and my mom is Eurasian.
Are you Eurasian?
Yes.
Okay.
So I am a multicultural family.
Yep.
Actually, recently, my mom was celebrating my grandmother's birthday, and she took this photo and she posted it on Instagram with the caption of "My happy multicultural family."
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, she's very proud of it. And there's also the thing about being mixed is that nobody can tell what your race is.
Oh, true? True?
Yeah, so I get a lot of like people asking me where I'm from. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
As for me, I'm from a small little town in Kedah. And I could speak Malay with the accent of the northern. Yeah, I came from SK school, so I don't really know how to read or write Chinese. I'm in the process of learning it. My major would be in Malay or English. And on the other hand of the race, I think the second biggest thing that is in Malaysia is about religion.
Yes.
So I grew up in a multi-religion background. So as being the only Chinese student in the entire primary school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really a very small school, like 200 plus for all 6 standards. So I literally sat
get
through, some Jawi classes, and then, I was being exposed to Islamic writings, and then I went to Catholic Sunday school. I went to, I came from a Taoism family, turned Buddhism, and then my brother-in-law was part of Hinduism, but he's a Chinese. And then after that, I moved on to Protestant. So literally, I'm like almost everything. Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, so you have one of the 3 R's here, you have one of them, which is race, whereas I have the other one, which is
religion.
Religion, yeah, because there are 3 R's that people say try not to discuss in Malaysia, right? So
right.
we have 2 already.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so let's go into our topic that we picked from Reddit today. Yeah, so there was this thing from Reddit that says, what's one thing you appreciate about Malaysia that people don't have in other Southeast Asian countries? That's a huge title.
Yes.
Literally. And there was this person that posted, I find it fascinating how mamak, kopitiam, kedai gerai is still the go-to food place for all classes. I remember reading a comment by a fellow monyet saying that you could see a CEO, a datuk, school students, and your daily wage worker all eating at a simple nasi lemak, teh tarik, roti canai, breakfast meal at the usual mamak. Rather than being seen as poor people food, the simple nasi lemak or kuih are actually more in demand by the upper class during meetings. If you ever attended any government meeting or any corporate meeting, it reached to the point that some meetings couldn't jalan because there's no kuih for the VIPs.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. And he further elaborated saying that what I'm trying to say is it's super cool how our traditional food is appreciated by all classes and races. We don't really have the classism with food, like how baked beans, canned food are looked down upon in the West. And our cuisine also evolves quite a lot as the years goes by. And Malaysians are generally spotting about new food trends like bubble tea, matcha, viral cheese lele, etc. Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you have to say about this person's comment?
You know that one thing about Malaysian when they brag to like other countries is always about food.
Yeah. We always have a war to claim our national food
Yes.
between us and Indonesia and between us and Singapore. We're trying to claim nasi lemak, we're trying to claim durian, we're trying to claim almost
Rendang.
rendang. And now is the durian season.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, I don't really like durian. I'm ashamed to be a Malaysian, but I can say that I appreciate how unique it is and
Yep.
how like standout it is as a Malaysian like national fruit.
Yep.
And that goes for all the foods in Malaysia, honestly speaking. Especially, I think you can say if people think of like Malaysian food is always nasi lemak.
Yep.
Like I feel like that's like number one. And then there's so many varieties now.
Correct.
I
You have
don't know.
rempah, you can have it varuwal, you can have it rendang and whatever it is. There's so many
There's
varieties.
so many. And then like they fuse with like other like Chinese food, Chinese style.
Chinese style,
Or they
yes.
mix with like the Indian curry, you know.
Correct.
It's just a very versatile dish.
Yeah, and I can see, how people could evolve one thing into the other. Like Chinese, they have this fried kway teow.
Yeah.
When you go to the Malay, it became kway teow basah.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I was a bit because I was grow up with like Malay food, despite my actually Chinese ancestry. But like I always thought kway teow was
Malay
like the Malay food because I always heard about kway teow basah, and then like going to certain parts of the country, like states, their national like dish is like kway teow. And then when I slowly get older, I tasted the Chinese kway teow, and I was like, these two are very different.
Very different.
But they're the same thing.
Yeah, correct. And also, I could see that one of the things that the person that commented on Reddit actually said about kueh.
Oh, yes.
So literally, there was one period of time, I was totally confused between the Malay kueh and the Nyonya kueh. Because they look so similar.
Yes.
Their names are very similar,
yes.
and almost everything clashes and overlap. It's not like Malay kueh and Indian kueh is very different. Malay kueh and Nyonya kueh is so similar. And sometimes they just have different names, but it's totally the exact same thing.
Yes.
So I was like, what is this?
Yes.
And my teacher once said that one day, everyone will forget what the kueh's name is because there are so many types to an extent that we start the pointing system. I want kueh tu, dan tu. We no longer remember what the kueh is.
We just know what it looks like.
Just remember the color, the looks,
yes.
Maybe how it tasted, a bit sweet, a bit not so sweet, and things like that. And that's how united people can be.
Yeah, I think that's also the beauty of like living in cultural Malaysia is that like for instance, because my mom really likes Nyonya kueh. And I think I grew up with it as well. So I never knew that it was Nyonya kueh. So, and like that's the variety and like how do I say this? Like the mix.
Yeah.
Like you can mix different cultures and like enjoy it together.
Yeah.
Right?
And a lot of times, right, we also get confused about the name of the food and how it actually symbolizes Malaysian. So one of those that I heard would be Hainanese chicken chop. What happened was that in the British era, they hired the Hainanese as the canteen workers. And as we all know, the Westerners love things that are like chicken chop and things like that. So they actually produce and come up with the name here locally, which a lot of us thought that it literally came from the West or it came from Hainan. Actually, it was here. It's Malaysian food. Or maybe something like curry fish head. A lot of people thought, probably that's Indian food. So there are quite a number of things. Or maybe banana leaf. A lot of people thought that probably it might come from India. Maybe some part of it, but the actual culture come from Malaysia. And it gave us a sense of identity. What do you think?
I think it's interesting that I think that happens a lot. Where you're just like, especially when you like try to like, I guess people fight over things. It's like, where is this origin? This is origin from here, or like, no, we own this dish.
This dish.
Yeah. So, but I think it's interesting that to discover and have that unique identity.
Yeah.
Based on food.
And I think food is what literally put us together. If you do notice, when someone get married, food.
Yes.
Someone passed away, food. Housewarming,
food.
Baby shower, food. Whatever it is,
food. Always.
So that is part of like our culture here. And saying about food, we all know that Malaysia is one of the countries that have the most number of public holidays.
Yes.
Including National Day.
Yes.
And it seems like, we all celebrate the same festival regardless of who we are.
Yes.
So I think in the past, during maybe our parents' time, they only shop during Chinese New Year, Raya, or Deepawali. It depends on which race they come from. Nowadays, the sales are from the 1st of January up to 31st of December. So literally everybody buy during all the season. And I noticed that even the car driving back to kampong during Chinese New Year is not entirely Chinese. On the road with us, in the traffic jam, there are also Malays, Indians, Kadazan Dusun, Iban, and other Bumiputras that are over here. And I think that's really interesting because it seems like everybody is celebrating it even though it's not part of their festival. I see that during Chinese New Year, my Indian neighbor are also playing firecrackers.
Oh yes, yes. Like especially when like you see a lot of cars during like, for instance, if it was the weekend, or like Chinese New Year is on a Monday.
Yeah.
You see so many cars on Friday, and you're like, everyone celebrating Chinese New Year. Everyone balik kampung.
Regardless of who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are like mixed up everything already. And also not just that, people already know that how to get their leave ahead so that they can celebrate with other races, and they already have plans ahead. Whose house to go?
Yeah.
Whose house to go? So it seems like open house is also one of the culture here.
We love an open house.
We love an open house. Like
food. More food.
Go there for whatever food it is. And then there are also this, what we call the decorations, are also very fast. If you do notice, right now is August, but we already start seeing some shops like Mr. DIY are already starting to sell Deepawali items.
Yeah. The
like
businesses are fast.
3 months down the road, man. Haven't even seen anything yet. And probably before Deepawali started, the Christmas items are already on sale, and I was like, wow.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Like for instance, every single after Christmas, not even a day after Christmas, you can see Chinese New Year decorations already.
Correct. And I feel that, regardless of how one race is always scolding over the other race, which happens very commonly, as per se. But then there would be, we are always united when it comes to something against another person. For instance, Olympics, when we send our sportsmen and sportswomen, regardless of who they are, Chinese, Indian, Malay, Iban, Kadazan Dusun, or whoever it is, we will just support them as if they are part of our soul. It's like, wow, it united us a lot.
That's
Correct.
Malaysian identity.
Malaysian identity. And in the past, right, saying about Malaysian identity, in the past I only enjoyed 31st of August due to the holiday. But recently I noticed I enjoyed that day by turning on the TV and look at the parade and how our Abang Bomba doing this and this. You know?
Oh yeah, that was a big thing last year.
Yeah. Actually, I would really love to drop by the place, but I just cannot take the jam, so
yes,
I prefer
exactly.
to watch
You've never
on TV.
been to-
I have never been there.
I've
Have you
never, no, but because my background, I have a lot of like traditional, like I'm always involved in this kind of thing, like traditional dancing. It's like I've been doing it since I'm like, what, 5 or something? So like, I'm very passionate about culture. Like, so whenever National Day comes, it's always busy for me when I was younger or
to
like...
prepare for those?
Technically any festival actually, because they will ask for traditional dances. So that's why I'm very passionate about culture. I'm so passionate about the clothing, about the music, or especially the music is so unique from each race.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so like during National Day, I turn on the TV every single year to just see the different like costumes, this different music, and like everyone dancing to the same song, everyone singing to the same songs.
Yeah.
Like I'm very passionate about that.
And I think most, if not all of us, grew up with Merah Mubarak Semangat Wajah.
We love that
Or
one.
even Keranamu Kami Mendakap Tua. You know?
Yeah, that's. Did you sing it? Is it popular during like your time?
During my time, almost every year, it's like tanggal 31 and then all those things, and then what Puro Nelayan dan juga petani. We all are very passionately singing this.
Everyone's screaming, shouting
Everyone's
the lyrics.
screaming, shouting the lyrics, trying to compete who is the loudest.
Yes.
And I think in the recent few years, they implement this thing called the National Day song inside the cinema.
Really?
It is really, really an eye-opener that even though cinema is very dark, like you literally don't know who is sitting there.
Yes.
But when the national song is being played on screen, everybody stood up. Yeah, it's like a sense of identity.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like a sense of pride.
Yeah, I mean, they can always sit down and pretend they didn't listen to anything, but
true.
you know, people just stood up regardless of who they are.
I think that just says a lot about our upbringing as well. Because you say you sing a lot of Jalur Gemilang, tanggal 31 Keranamu Malaysia. We still sing those songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Until now?
Until now, the same songs are so passionately sang, even by like the young students. And I think that's also a thing about the beauty of like a national identity is to be able to unite different generations. Like clearly there's a big generational gap here,
Correct.
but we are bonding and
Using
like
songs.
we're able to communicate with each other over something that is commonly like experienced between us, despite the generational
Despite
gap.
the generational gap.
Yeah.
Despite, you know, people don't understand, I don't know what it means, skippity and things like that, but
Yes.
we all know that song.
Yes, we all know that song.
We all know that song.
And holding the Jalur Gemilang and screaming to the top of our
Screaming
lungs.
to the tops of our lungs, yeah. And there are quite a number of other things that is almost the same. Yeah, but then, you know, I do also notice that we do have separation in certain ways, but I'm not sure whether when it comes to your time, things have changed. Because during my time,
Yes.
we have a particular race for a particular uniform unit.
Oh.
Like literally in my school, last time,
okay.
I'm not going to tell anyone what my school is. If you all are my, ex-batchmate, you all know, then you all keep quiet. Shh, okay, don't tell people. So last time during my secondary school, cadet, police are for Indians. St. John Ambulance, Chinese. Cadet Remaja, Malay. Literally, you can't see any other soul in that team. Which I think is pretty sad. Literally, like there's no mix and match. And even though you are passionate about certain things, you can't literally join because of your peer pressure and sense of identity that tell you don't like to be in the medical but then you are Chinese. This is the place for Chinese. Join us. So it became like that. I don't know whether your time things have changed.
I'm not sure about like, it could be just an individual experience and it's based on school, I'm not sure. But in my school, they made sure, because I can't say about my primary school, because when I was in primary, I think I had this experience with you where the whole school only consists like 100 plus students.
Okay.
So it was like one class for each standard. Like standard one is like maybe 15 people.
Okay.
So, but I have to say about my secondary school experience is they manage, or I guess they make sure to have equal balance of race in each class, because you have when they arrange your class according to your grades, but then they also arrange according to race ratio.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And like, they made sure that that's like only classes, obviously. Like, of course, we would be like, as teenagers, we'd be like, oh no, I'm separated from my friends again, those kind of thing. But I have learned throughout my life that I see it as a learning opportunity and like opening up myself to like new experiences. So that was, to me, I see it as a good thing.
Yeah.
Despite, yes, I did complain about it. Let's be real. But
Okay.
But now I think about it back, I learned a lot from that. The cadet remaja, cadet police, whatever. I think now is a bit better.
Now it's a bit
when
better.
it comes to like people choosing what they want to enter. They don't really see, at least my school, didn't really see race much. Like, again, it could be just an individual perception, because that is the thing a lot, because it's like maybe I saw it as something that's I don't see any discrimination or any prejudice whatsoever. It was all like, maybe there was, not sure, each to their own experiences. So to me it was quite
okay.
Yeah.
The one that is quite okay for my time is sport house. So as we all know, most of the sport houses are being labeled using colors. So that is an equal distribution when it comes to sport house. You don't get to choose. You're being thrown into it. But co-curricular activities, you get to choose. So it became a very racial thing. Yeah, so that's pretty sad, but I love my sports houses. Yeah, we literally won quite a number of times throughout my secondary
What house
school.
was it?
I was in greenhouse for 2 years.
Greenhouse.
And then I was in yellow house for 3 years.
Oh,
being changed.
You changed.
Because secondary 1, secondary 2, afternoon school. When it comes to morning school, secondary 3, they change, they swap us. So I went to yellow house. And I think out of the 5 years, we won like 4 times. So not bad, not too bad.
And also talking about like bringing like people together, like, and also like talking about prejudice. There's a thing in psychology called contact hypothesis.
Yep.
Basically, you are bringing I think it's a theory where if you meet certain conditions, you bringing members from different groups of people, and you can basically trying to reduce prejudice. Which is probably the reason why they did it for my time, because they probably saw like maybe we need get them to explore. And like get them to be more open to everybody despite race. And maybe they saw the problem. Maybe it was not a problem, but maybe they just wanted to, make sure that teenagers are able to be, how do I say this, like giving them the experience, not to be like closed off and only stick to your people.
Groups, only in your groups and things like that. Which I do agree. I think many of us are too comfortable with our groups. And nowadays, to be very frank, in school, teachers are very scared of getting complaint letters. And a lot of parents complaining to get their child to continue to stay with their gang of people, which I don't think is something healthy, because in long run, it's not going to help. You can always stay in touch with a person. I mean, WhatsApp is there, WeChat is there, I mean, all kind of apps is there. You can always go outside of school, go Starbucks and things like that together. But why must you be in the same house in the school? I have no idea.
I think it's like a sense of like normality. They just feel comfortable. They don't have to get out that comfort zone. And I I think it's also very restrictive, especially in your adolescent years, to be closed off, because that's the time where you try really finding yourself, finding your circle, finding your comfort zone. And also, I think it's important for people at that age, and not to say that that's the only age you can open and go out for your comfort zone.
Yeah. At any age, actually.
Yeah, at any age, true. Like, get yourself out there, you know?
Yeah.
Learn what other people are thinking, how they live, their cultures. It's beautiful, you know?
Yeah. So I think, we have discussed quite a little bit of things. Probably we'll just go into the ads and then we'll be back to discuss more about Malaysia.
Okay.
Welcome back. So just now we talked a lot about food, about celebrations and about patriotic song. Actually, I wonder if you still remember the slogan and any particular song that you literally like. Do you still remember them?
Not really, because I used to be so involved in the National Day celebrations. So I actually, when I was in primary, it was very often. And I remember like standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 6. I remember all 6. I used to remember it. But now, it's all gone already. But a key memory, a core memory, if you will. I remember the slogan for Satu Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Najib.
Yeah. But I remember that time because the song, Satu Malaysia.
Sounds very good, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
Nice.
It's so nice. And I remember because I had to, I don't even remember what year was it. I'm pretty sure it was my year, but I was standard 1.
Is it like 2008?
I was standard 1.
2008, was it?
No, 2009.
2009,
I'm pretty sure. And I was, again, for some reason in my whole life, I've always been thrown into like the mess because like new experiences. Because I was the only standard 1 out of my dance troupe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And everyone else was standard 4, 5, 6 and older.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was for a celebration for I'm not sure if it's Malaysia Day. I think it's for National Day. For Yayasan Titi Wangsa's, I think for their celebration. And I was the only dancer who was 7. So it was terrifying. Yeah, it was terrifying. So but despite that, that's probably the reason why I remember it so well. Trauma. but still, they treat me well because I was the youngest. So they treat me like a younger sibling. So it was a good experience still. So that song stuck with me. Yeah, I remember dancing to it. And like it felt so good because it was like, because there was many dance troupes, I think from different schools. So there were different ages, there were different race, everyone was just together. And we were all singing it. It was beautiful. Yeah.
For me, I think I lived with Wawasan 2020 and also the Keranamu Malaysia. I think it was a few years. And then I also like Satu Malaysia song, even though I don't really like the politics. But I do think that song is very energetic. I can just imagine it now without any scripts or anything. It's like, kita satu, satu negara. Things like that, right? So it's nice.
Yeah. I think it attached that also nostalgic feeling. Because again, it's like a core, core memories, they like stick with you.
You.
And like it's so vivid.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is in my mind.
Correct.
And like, again, even if it played during my secondary time, everyone was so excited to sing it.
Everyone's so excited. Yeah, we don't really remember about politics
Yeah, no.
and whatever. No. It is just a unity thing.
Yeah, it's a identity.
Identity,
Yeah, and
yeah.
also it doesn't help that everyone knows the lyrics of every single lyric, and like they're so, it gives that emotion.
Correct.
It gives that emotion. Very
Saying
emotional
about
song.
this, right? The current, I don't know whether it is our national theme song this year, or probably is just from Mr. DIY.
Ah,
but
yes.
that song
Saw
is
that.
also extremely well. And
yes.
saying about that song, it comes to the next part of our podcast. It's about Malaysian slang and dialects. In
Oof.
that song, there are is it 3 or 4? 3 or 4 different languages staying in the same song. There's Mandarin, there's Tamil, English, Malay. They're all there in the same song. And I was like, wow. And that song is really nice. I really hope that that's the national one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really sure, but it's very viral right now. Saying about that, Malaysian slang is something that there is no other than us.
Yeah.
You know, even though we do have Chinese from China, we do have Chinese from Hong Kong and from any other places, coming here just to know that literally the word la, meh,
Meh.
is actually from here and not from, you know, whatever dialects it is. And we can literally combine a lot of languages into one sentence, and going to the mama is like, hello, ane. That's already two. Because there's English, there's already Tamil. Ane. Roti canai
Nice.
satu.
That's Malay.
That's Malay. Tapau.
Yes.
So it's like we combine a few different languages in one sentence. Yeah. And I feel that is really great, because that is not something that we can find in other parts of the world.
Exactly.
Probably Singapore might say that we are almost the same, but I still think that we hold that more
Yeah.
as compared to other countries. And because of this, I do think that it is something important for our audience and, you know, for other people that are trying to pursue their tertiary education to definitely consider to pick up a subject, whether you can go on Coursera or whatever platforms, study about social cultural exchange or cultural psychology, cross-cultural psychology, or even pop culture in psychology. I do think that that's really crucial. We need to know how to compromise, how to support each other, how to find identity when we are not the same, but yet we are the same
Yeah.
at the same time.
Because like I guess you mentioned about the slang.
Yeah,
the
the
Malaysian
slang.
slang.
Correct.
So that really like brings us together of like when we're speaking to each other with the
Yeah.
las and the men.
Correct, because like Singapore, they already claim one. The Singapore will end everything with sia. That one is already dias. Okay, so ours will be something like la and
meh.
meh and all these things. And then, you know, we will add all these things. Those are ours. Don't please, Singapore, if you're watching, Singaporean, don't claim that from us. Okay, that is ours. Yeah.
And then it's interesting that we have so many languages, right?
Yep.
So we just mix everything together. That's the Malaysian
Correct.
personality identity. There's an interesting phenomenon in psychology, basically called cultural frame switching. If you learn cross-cultural psychology, you will learn this. Basically saying that when people have multiple cultures, they switch. Like, I guess we can say they switch personalities when they speak a different language.
Yeah.
Does it happen to you?
Oh yes. Let me share with you this. What happened to me today is Friday. I was sent for surgery on Wednesday, and there was this anesthesia doctor that will go around and explain, have you taken your food, everything, you need to sign the paper. So there was this patient across my bed who was a lady, Chinese, that don't understand. This doctor speaking in English, she was like, huh? This doctor spoke in Malay, she was like, The doctor straight away changed her language to Mandarin. I was like, how? And when Mandarin doesn't work, she changed it to Hokkien because apparently that Chinese is from Indonesia. So that Indonesian Chinese speaks Hokkien. So she literally can change her dialects and slangs. And literally, that person was also shocked. How can this doctor speak in so many slangs? But I think that is the uniqueness in us that you can't find elsewhere. We will literally change according to the person. And I believe a lot of us in Malaysia would agree that all the doctors that were actually treating the older generation knows how to speak all the languages. They will know Cantonese, Mandarin, Malay, Chinese, Tamil, whatever it is, they will have this skill in them.
It's a good skill to have, having multiple languages.
Correct.
And also, I want to talk about how when I'm speaking, I mainly speak English, but whenever I speak Malay, I change my cadence. I don't know how to explain it. But
I totally get that. I know.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a completely different person.
Correct. Whenever I have to speak in Malay, right, I also change. People will be like, "You are a Kedahan." I say, "How do you know?" That is somehow it is in us.
It's like it's completely different person.
Yeah. And then what makes things more beautiful here is that we have mixed racial couples.
Yes.
And mixed marriages. Oh, yeah. You are the product. You are the product. Yeah, and we also have certain mixed, what we call that, culture without changing their current status. So, for example, Baba Nyonya.
Yes.
They adopted the Malay community living styles and also dishes, but remain as a Buddhist or Taoist, and also remain their recipe. So sometimes I get confused. There's something called masak rendang babi. I was like, why is the babi behind? Then it's like, apparently it is the Baba Nyonya dishes, but they take it the recipe from the Malays and they cook it in their own way. So I was like, oh, okay. So we have a lot of special things here. Baba Nyonya, we have some of the Eurasians, we have some, mixed marriages between intercultural things. And it's not just the races, sometimes it's interfaith. There are people that marry each other and how it really makes wonders. Now, I do know that this is not something that is agreeable by most of the people out there, but it is not something for us to deny that a lot of people get married because of love, not because they need to convert into another identity. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Especially, I think it's getting more common that way.
Yeah.
Like we really want to seek that feeling of love. And like caring about someone and no one else kind of feeling, you know?
Correct. I do have friends that, literally they are not from the same faith, but when they got married, their parents insisted that they have to be in the same faith. But then, they just do it for the sake of shutting them up and then after the marriage, they just go back to their life. They don't really care much, which is another thing that is unique in Malaysia, because as far as I can see that the system out there, it is much stricter and a lot of backfiring in other countries.
That's just how, I guess, we learn. Like we slowly learn to either get out of it or find a compromise.
Correct.
For it, Yeah. And also, I guess what's the word? Like you can't deny love or something?
You can't deny love, and unity and things like that. And sometimes it's very cute things that it might be a joke, which I must credit him, okay? Kumar from Singapore. I must credit him because I get this joke from him.
Okay.
He said that whenever there's a traffic jam, the whole Singapore will curse. I think the same thing here. We're going to curse.
Yes.
But then, right, out of that, we can come up with some racist jokes and none of us will feel offended. Example, if there's an accident in front, it's a Lamborghini Chinese. It's a motorbike Malay. It's a bicycle Indian. I don't think anyone of us will get offended because it's just like something fun.
I think it's not a stereotype thing. It's more like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then it's like we brush it off. It's not that serious.
It's not something serious.
It's not really offensive either. You're not calling them names or anything. It's just like we all have those times. And most of the time it's probably
And then you can also see that certain things, when traffic jam happen due to accidents, the Malay community is just trying to see what is happened. The Chinese community trying to see what the 4-digit of the number is.
Oh my
They
God,
wanted to buy Toto. I mean,
Yeah.
this is something that people joke about, but none of us get offended
No.
about it.
That's about multicultural because you're already so used to it.
Or maybe, someone would say Chinese is good in math, Indian is mostly lawyer, Malay mostly politician. I don't think anybody is going to get offended with that as well.
I mean, like, you say it, right? But then we know that's not the reality.
Yeah.
There's stereotypes, yes. Those bad things, like negative stereotypes. But there's also the positive
stereotypes.
And not to say we should normalize stereotyping, no. But we can make light of it.
We can just don't take it too seriously to the extent that we get offended with every single thing.
But then that's also, not to, certain things you can't really say. Again, negative stereotypes exist. And those are, when people use it as a weapon against other race.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Then that is not good.
No.
I do think that those stereotypes that I shared with you just now is pretty okay as compared to when people are involved in accidents and it is between two different races and then a war happens.
No.
That is bad. That is totally backfiring from what we are discussing.
I think the moment you start, again, this happens probably not just inter-country, but also like between countries.
Yeah.
Like when, it's a foreigner and a local, and then they start pointing fingers at the country and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's never good that way.
Never
Either
good.
in any circumstance, I think. Because I think, to me, I feel like when everyone makes mistakes and also don't see their background, because that situation is solely individual to that situation.
Correct.
To generalize a whole population.
I like that word. Generalize.
To generalize a whole population.
That is
good.
what a lot of people are doing. It's like
yes,
whenever
unfortunately.
something happens, they will say the whole race is the same issue and things like that. I don't think that is something good. Let's spread positivity during our National Day month and also be inclusive of everybody, just accept everyone. And I do think that there's one thing that I wanted to spread through my voice is that though we are trying very hard to tell people what is good and what is not good, we also do hope that people can understand that you not misuse the power of anonymity and started the keyboard warrior thing online behind the anonymous identity and started, sparking all those wars and things like that. That is something not good.
I think my mom loves to say this. If you have nothing nice to say,
Just
don't say
it.
anything at all.
Don't say anything at all.
Because I know it's like, I want to prove my point or like you feel like this person is wrong or whatever.
Yep.
I think there's this type of criticism towards people individually is okay. Like you can criticize their actions, you can criticize whatever, but do not
Shove things into the throne.
Yeah, that's one thing, and do not make their race or their religion or their gender as the main point of argument.
Oh yes.
Like never point that out. Because that person probably made a mistake or said something wrong. You don't have to point out their background, where they came from, their class, whatever. It's not...
Yeah, that became a cyberbullying and that became a bullying and then it ended up in some way when some people committed suicide due to this kind of bullying, then only we start realizing how serious it is, which is not something we wanted to see in long term. Yeah. So I think today we discussed quite a lot about Malaysia.
Yes.
And the key point for our audience to take away would be openness and acceptance, understanding of others, achieving harmony and solidarity with others, and curiosity and exploration to gain knowledge. All in all, unity is not something very easy to do.
Yes.
Being able to stay as a country for more than 60 years is not simple, it's not easy. And also being able to live in a country with more than 30 different races is also not something that every country can do. It's a blessing. So let's make use of this month this celebration to know your neighbors better, know your friends better, and if you all have not communicated for a very long time, try to contact them back. Not just to sell your things, just call them and say, hello, I miss our school time, Let's come up for coffee, but don't sell insurance or anything like that, huh? Okay, so we hope that you learn a lot today. And of course, if you do have any question, fill up the form in the description. And if you have any suggestions or spicy stories to share, it'll all be anonymous. We will double filter it and with AI and paraphrase it again. So I will see you next time. Probably, will you still be here that time?
We will see.
We'll see. So we'll see you in the next episode of Chilli Discussion. Bye.